Who can fucking tell? But yeah,
We're
this
live.
Is a game show. Oh. What's
We
going
might
on?
both be on live at the same time. I don't know.
Let's see.
I mean, he's on there, but what's going on, guys? It's your boy JC coming at you. I don't know. We're having some technical difficulties. The other show's running over just a little bit. I apologize. But we're going on at 8 Pacific, just like always, and we're going on
Eastern.
It's Eastern.
Wrong coast.
Eastern, whatever. Sorry, I don't do New Yorker time. So yeah, we're doing my thing. So
I mean that one's still showing. So I mean,
right.
yeah, I want to. I
Sorry.
actually want to pop out and see if we're actually live twice.
No, I can tell you in a second here. Let's see here.
It showed 2 lives.
So
it shows 2 lives.
Wow. Well, I don't know. This is the first for me.
Yeah, first for me as well. So, how's everybody doing?
Both worlds.
Yeah.
If
you guys want to go over there and watch the
notification for it, so.
So what's going on, guys? It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday night. You know what that means? We're going to show off some cool stuff that we picked up and talk about some hot button issues, and we're going to have fun doing it.
We are going to talk about some hot button issues.
Especially one I dealt with earlier this week, late last week. So
I think we all deal with it, honestly.
But
so got anything to show off?
Boy, do I. Smitty already saw this. I showed it off on Monday.
Yeah. Show that bad boy off.
I bought a big boy toy.
Oh, yeah? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, kind of. Kind of expensive.
Wait. Do the little spinny so they get the full effect. There you go. You got to show off all the lovely
He's an alcoholic Ninja Turtle. Got a little bear, little bottle. The I Love New York. But yeah, this is from Surge and Destroy.
Michelangelo.
Who has I think on Peace Count he is rivaling Evil Ghosty right now. And then that came with it. Just a couple of little extras. But I mean I've got that piece from Surge. I have the DIY card that Smitty gave me, and then I have on my own I have 3 triptychs coming from him.
So that's 9 more cards.
Let's say that off camera when I was sick, I opened up a case and a half. And I got enough duplicates of Surges to say, I'm like, dude, I got more. But then also with that, I was also able to pull 3 lenticulars. I pulled my 4th Surge, which I still have, which I was in trade for the Holy Grail, but that's a whole other story that we'll get into next week. But I was able to trade a duplicate of the 195 lenticular to 1 Carlos for, as you saw my Instagram post earlier, I got a 2 card set and then a 3rd individual card. And also one of the cards I needed. So I'm down to 2 cards that are unaccounted for. I think they're accounted for. I don't fucking remember. I don't. But it doesn't matter because I have 2 plain cards that I know I can probably find. And then I gotta send out some mail in the morning.
I got a bunch that I owe you still.
Then I'm
a couple.
These going out tomorrow. Getting a couple of, and I'm actually getting 2 signed cards and a DIY. And then I'm actually sending Yessie some stuff because yes, he needed some help. King Bob came in the clutch. That red.
It's all three are reds. These are
Oh, well,
yours, man.
perfect. Well,
These are yours. These are
then
going in the ones I owe, going in with the ones I still owe you. So you have
yes.
a full set of from red signed.
Then I got
Well, minus the lenticular and the collab.
yeah, but I actually messaged Red. I have a collab that I'd colored I wanted to send him, but he hasn't returned my message yet. But I got a signed card from Kata, and I got another one from Chris Dokibi. I'm sending cards out to get signed from both of them, and then we'll kind of spin around and see what duplicates I have, and we'll just keep doing that. Fill my book up.
Cool.
And then also, if you want, someone Instagram yesterday, I got in a bunch of Handmade by Robots, but this one in particular, the funny story, is this is the limited edition Glow in the Dark. It's not out yet. It's a GameStop exclusive.
How did you
I
get
don't
it?
know if they sent it to me by mistake or by mistake.
Show that again.
It's Oogie Boogie,
That's kind of dope.
and the glow on it is sick. It is ridiculously. It's a really good glow. And then I got my Disney Fab 4, and I think that's all really worth showing. I did win a set of Titan Breaking Bad figures on a giveaway from Instagram. But that's like 15 figures. I'm not going to pull them. I'm not going to show them all off. But
Smitty, what'd you get?
I got in a box from Mento. So this has it's a couple of things I picked up. I was lucky, if you want to call it that, at the to have won the auction for his Cinco de Mayo 1 of 1 tequila bottle.
That's amazing.
It's cool.
So that came in, and then I got my box from, or included in that was the box from the Miscast show. So I have an early waffle.
That was delicious.
I was gonna say, is that a blue waffle?
It's a gray.
I ain't blue, thank God.
We had a couple of his graveyard tombstones. We had a Miscast tequila bottle that is a little short, but the glow on this is insane.
It looks
toxic. This one just jumps right out. And then from the other week, when Fixed Tempo was on Booze and Buddies, we have the Fixed Tempo Mento collab Glorble.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So I had these come in, and then I had a package from Ghosty with...
That is dope.
You can't forget the shirt.
Oh,
Where's
yeah.
You got the mask that goes with it?
Not yet, but I'm waiting on it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has the mask yet.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I picked
Ghosty
up...
does a great job, man, especially with pins.
I mean, literally, my nerd pin board is now like mostly his stuff.
Whose are those? Ghosties?
Ghosties. These were his originals.
Those are
These
awesome.
were originals. So I picked up, he did a sale. So I picked up the last 3 originals that I didn't have, and then picked up an extra one of the zombie ghosty.
Yeah, he did his sale like 3 days after I made my purchase on his website. But
so
what you got, Jason?
I actually have some stuff this time.
Oh.
No, hang on, he's showing us something cool.
Oh.
So we have it's a miscast because there's a color difference on the side, but
that's still,
if I can get it.
Oh yeah.
You can start seeing a little bit of the glow. So this is one of his Mentos poison apples.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
But I kind of like it, even with the pink. I'm like, yeah, it's my crab apple.
I got some books.
Oh, he got some comics.
Like Whatnot was very gracious to me. I did a couple of
that's one of you following down one of Bob's rabbit holes.
No, I've been on Whatnot before.
We will talk about this in a little bit, but yeah.
I've been on I think I was on Whatnot a little bit before, Bob, but I mystery boxes. I love mystery boxes, and I didn't get to open these on camera, but I got some cool ones. So I did purchase these 2 together.
Sabretooth, nice.
1 and 2. There's only 4 in this series, so I like that cover though.
Oh, now you gotta get the other 2.
Yeah,
it's only a 4-book series.
It's only a 4-book series, so trying to remember who penciled this one. I think it was Roush. I can't remember. Then
hey Liz.
What's up, Liz? And then the reason I got on Whatnot to begin with was X-Men. I want some X-Men stuff to build up my collection of X-Men because I used to have this huge collection of X-Men. So that I got Gambit versus Magneto. And then I got Wolverine, Humanity Lost.
Nice.
So that one's kind of cool. And then the mystery box that I bought, it was like $5 for a mystery box plus shipping. And I got.
Do I ask why you can't say them?
Yeah, why not? You can share with the class.
Do you want to come on and say them? Does that make it easier?
So, Superman.
More Superman.
That's a kind of cool cover, though.
It is.
And then another Superman. All by Jurgens and Breeding. Jurgens. Oh, this one's by Jurgens and Klaus. So
$19.99 for shipping.
Huh? $19.99. What you talking about?
I don't know. I'm just reading the chat.
Oh. But it was kind of cool. I got some good stuff from my mystery box, and I started that Sabretooth collection.
Can't forget this either.
Shockmaster. Some of you kids don't know.
Well, no one really knows what the Shockmaster did. He wasn't around that long.
He was around for
in that gimmick. He wasn't around for that long.
No, Tugboat was around for a lot longer than Shockmaster. All right, guys. Yeah, it was $5 plus shipping, but the shipping was like $4, so it wasn't nice.
Well, yeah. Well, the cool part about Whatnot is the first thing you buy is like $5 shipping,
and then the
and then it's
second is like
$1 for
one.
everything after
Yeah.
that.
Didn't spend too much on that though. So,
Well, then you're lucky.
let's talk about spending a little bit, guys. So,
Yes.
I know we've got a lot of you weren't in the loop on this, but we had some issues at the beginning of last week, and this is something that all of us faced. I faced it when I was pop collecting. I know I faced it when I first started comic book collecting because I wasn't buying stuff just for me. I was buying so I could have it. Does that make sense? It wasn't something that, I mean, I was buying I enjoyed, but it was also, I was buying a shit ton.
Well, I mean, when you are a collector, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's easier as it's just a collector, not I'm gonna go on Instagram and be a influencer, be on YouTube and be a YouTuber, but just a collector. You can buy what you want, buy what not buy what you want, but sometimes you feel a little bit more pressure when you're on YouTube, 2, 3, 4 times a week. You feel like you have to keep up with people you watch and people that you follow, people you're friends with, and it can get away from you. And there's a lot of easy ways to let that happen without you even realizing it until you're staring down the question of paying rent, paying food, or whatever, and it's whatnot. You start bidding away, and you start realizing, oh shit, I'm $200 into this now, and or you get caught up in trying to finish a wave of Marvel Legends, or catch up on a run of comic books, stuff like that. And now you have retailers that make it easy with the you know shop pay for, and PayPal pay for, and you think about, oh, okay, I can take this $100 friggin' purchase and pay $25 here and then pay it off over 8 weeks. But when you do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12, 30, all that, it adds up, and then that, oh well, it's $25 here and there turns into $100, $200, $300, and then you're left with paying it, or screwing yourself over. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened to me. And then also you get into pre-ordering without paying for it, and then all the stuff you want to have comes in at once, and then it's like you got to pay that all off. And then you're sitting around on a Friday night watching Booze and Buddies, and cool
Thanks,
shit
Smitty.
drop, and you're dropping a couple $100 on that. I say it's all good, and as long as I can pay for the main stuff, I don't mind. But when you're teetering on that line between getting yourself paid for and not getting yourself paid for, that's when you go on Instagram and you say, I'm quitting collecting, fuck all this shit, it ain't worth it. But then thankfully you're a pop collector, and you can go through your collection and you can pull off a couple hundred pops, and move them for a little bit less than you want to, but you cover what you need.
Right.
I'm not saying I've done that. I just know from personal experience I've done that.
And
But I mean,
Liz said that instant gratification, everyone is going through so much that they do different things to make themselves happy for a few minutes.
and
That's
yeah,
true.
and that's totally true. Like like in the last couple weeks, I spent way too much money, and I freely admit I did. But I guess when everything balances out, I have a cool piece from Surge that I will always enjoyed. If it ever gets here, I have a diorama that will be pretty badass. It's home from Canada, so that's like the 2-week process at least. But I mean, it's just having to have the mindset of, okay, I'm going to do this because I've got this, and this to worry about. You can't buy everything, pay for everything, function, live, and not, you have to you got to draw a line, and I see a lot of us doing it now. A lot of people I've talked to, even in the last couple of days, they've scaled back on their purchases, or they've sold off things that they don't want to finance stuff that they do want. I did it backwards. I mean, I put myself in the hole and I dug and I prop myself out. But usually, you sell the stuff that you don't want, and then you buy the stuff that you want. But I mean, it's just it's an eye-opening experience when you sit there, 5 days before rent's due, and like, what the fuck am I going to do?
Right.
That's where I was at Friday. Luckily I have some awesome people in my life that, pushed me back off the ledge and told me everything was going to be all right and gave me some money for food, and I have pudding now, so I'm good. But it's a wild ride that, until you're in that situation, it's like, it's not worth it. Buying every pop is not worth it. Buying every, hot toy is not worth it.
Hot toys are, you're playing in big boy league there.
I will say this: I mentioned hot toys for a fucking reason. I have 3 of them on pre-order for next year, and I'm getting them. I'm getting my Doc Brown and my Marty McFly from Back to the Future 3. I don't give a fuck. Put this on God right now. It's recorded, and they also have the Green Goblin on pre-order. I will find a way for those.
Who
works for a reputable collectible consignment shop, Liz? And what kind of stuff do they have?
Oh shit!
Damn it, Smitty.
Liz?
She's holding out on me. I
So when I first started
finding this out now,
when I first started YouTube, it was, I had to keep up with everybody.
Exactly.
I had to keep up. I mean, I had to keep up with John. I had to keep up with Lindsay. I had to keep up with Pop Couple. I had to keep up with Sean. I had to keep up with.
All right.
And I bought myself into a hole. I did.
There is no keeping up with Pop Couple.
No keeping up.
No,
Pop Couple owns everything, so we love you guys. But
yeah, we do.
But I had to keep. That's what I felt like, is I had to keep up, and there's honestly no way to keep up and be healthy. I mean, unless you're like James and Lisa, unless you're in this together and this is what you do now. It's your part of your life is being collectors. I didn't want that. I wanted to collect what I liked. I wanted to, honestly, just to hang out with people on YouTube. Honestly, have fun, talk some shit, talk about Obi-Wan, which we'll be doing shortly. I wanted to hang out, and we didn't need all that. Yeah. But I drove myself insane trying to get all of that. That's why I still have Disney Funko Pops and.
Hey, there's nothing wrong.
No, I'm just saying I kept the Disney because that's something I enjoy, but I still have god awful amount of Funko Pops that I need to get rid of. So, I mean, it's hard on a lot of people. We use this as self-care, and whenever self-care becomes harmful, it's no longer self-care. So,
yep. Oh, it got harmful on Friday. It got harmful on Friday, a little bit on Saturday. By Sunday, I was okay. but yeah, I mean, even now, I don't feel as much of a competitive edge to as far as other people goes. Like I don't feel like I have to compete with person A, B, or C. It's just I see a bunch of cool shit that I want, and I shoot and then ask questions later. And unfortunately, when the questions are how are we gonna pay rent, how are we gonna buy food, how are we gonna put gas in the car, but I have a cool piece from Surge. I can't put that in my gas tank. Can't trade that to my landlord for rent, but and it's something that I have to learn to deal with, and realize I can't carry hundreds of dollars in payments for PayPal or for shop play and still be able to function. So it's just something you learn. It's a crappy lesson, but
Oh yeah, it's a
you
tough
learn it.
lesson.
And
What's up, Kenneth?
and thankfully I was purging my pops anyway.
Right.
Well, I mean, Liz will tell you, and so will Dave. I've been saying I need to go through mine and sort mine for over a year. I've been too lazy and not motivated to actually start to actually do it.
Well, I'll say this: when I started the purge, it was easy because I had a wall in my bedroom. I cherry picked a couple that I wanted to keep, took a picture of my wall, sent it to my buddy. I'm like, hey, want to buy all these? How much? Give him the number. He's like, all right, fine. I'll be there in 2 weeks. Came down, picked them up. We're done. He saw what I had laying around, and he put that bug in my ear. Hey, you want to get rid of more? Fuck yeah, I do. So I've got another probably 80 pops and some Chase sodas to go. So
yeah, yeah.
I
don't want the lecture if she saw the piles.
I'll say it's hard to get. It's hard to say. You know what? I want to get rid of it, but once you get that first or second little push, oh shit, man, I got rid of 50 of them. Oh my god, I got rid of another 100. Then it's like, okay, let's keep going. It's easy. It gets easier, and then you look at it differently. It's like, okay, I have this, stack that I love, as opposed to this, all-encompassing friggin', specter of fear that's all around you too. But I mean,
I know you joke about, Smitty's gonna back up the Brinks truck. But yeah, I'm in a good spot.
Yeah.
Should I save more? Yes, I should. I have nothing in savings, but I have the ability to and the flexibility to be able to help, some of my friends out.
Yeah.
I have the ability to pick up the stuff I want, from the artists I like.
So do not buy 50. I mean, you can buy 25 back.
Maybe double the price.
But
well, no, and early on, that was the kind of stuff. It was like, when I first got into pops, I was, I tried buying everything, or I bought a lot of stuff that even if I wasn't collecting that line, it was like, oh, this one's going to be popular. It'll go up.
Yeah.
And then it didn't. And then you're like, oh.
And say, oh shit, I'm
honestly,
stuck with Cuphead.
Yeah. You know what my worst collection is? Like the most expensive collection I have? It's not Pops. It's prints. Like, I have a shit ton of prints that are very expensive, and I just can't get rid of them. Buy more meaningful.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's where JC's got this prints. Bob's got his autographs. You know, I've got, you know, my toys from, you know, a lot of the collectors or the artists that I like. I mean, yeah, I've got my Star Wars, you know, I mean, I went heavy and I still love My Hero Academia, but I keep looking at them and going, and that's big for me. You know, I'm looking at, you know, I've looked at my Batman stuff a couple of times, and I'm like, do I need all of them?
With Scott.
My Liz's brother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
He's got.
You should.
He does. He does the Lego, the different Lego.
Oh yeah.
Pieces. So he has a lot of like space. So space Lego pieces. So he has like the international.
I find Legos too exhausting. Like I'm just cool collecting them, but to put together something, that's a little bit too much for me. Yes, I know you got the Legos, but it's like I want a thing that I could take out of the box and put up on the shelf. You know.
Well, I mean, Legos. You can do that with Legos. You just had to build it first.
Yeah, I got to build it first. That's a lot of work, and mine always come out looking like a line.
No, so, if you follow the instructions, it'll come out looking like the actual item.
It never do for me. I don't follow the instructions very well.
Well, that's your problem. I mean, I have some of the smaller ones. I don't have anything big, only because I have no room for them right now. But I wouldn't mind getting that one signature big piece.
You have 3 full totes of Pops that are doubles?
I don't know if they're doubles. She didn't say doubles. She just said rehoming them.
Yeah, which makes me question.
You can't question her if she can't question you in your piles.
Well, she doesn't see them, but most of those 3 totes would have been stuff I gave her.
Then yeah, that's wrong. You don't rehome gifts.
So I'm just
she's rehoming 5.
Checking on that.
Depends on which 5 they are.
Yeah, no, because she said she was rehoming doubles. So
I'm sorry, if I have 5 boxes of Pops, like full boxes of Pops, and they were all gifts, I got to get rid of them.
Some this weekend. Okay, all right. I take that. Yes, I read quickly. Learn to read.
Learn to read.
Yes.
I love it when Liz comes on.
Well, and I say that because I have 3 boxes of Pops that are for Miss Liz.
Oh, yeah.
At least 3 boxes full here because she doesn't have room. So I'm holding them for her. But that was also my problem when I was doing the Pops was I was buying for myself. I was buying for her. I was buying stuff for her nephew, Tom. I was buying stuff for her nephew, Joe. That reminds me, I got to make sure I pack this box for Joe.
And there he goes again, buying more stuff for Joe.
Yeah, well, you know, he's still young. Tom's kind of an adult, and he's working. He can buy his own Pops now, but I take care of him. I've got, you know.
I have a small
She still has some of Tom's Pops. Yeah. No, and Joe does, but that goes back to that whole influencer thing that we talked about that I am, you know.
No, not you.
You know, oh, Tom, you like Deadpool? Oh, they're doing a bunch right now.
Oh yeah, even a panda.
He has it. He
Stupid panda
has
pool.
almost that whole. He has almost all of the Deadpool. At least the first 2 series
So
or waves, however you want to call it.
yeah, I think that's wave.
He well, we showed up because Joe's birthday is New Year's Eve. We went down just before Christmas and we celebrated his birthday and Christmas. Joe literally had like a mini circular wall behind him of pops. I think he got between his birthday and Christmas from me, he had 24
That's
pops.
kind of cool. But the point of this whole thing was like we were trying to tell you that collecting is awesome. We enjoy collecting. Each of us do. We each have our own things that we love. Like I love Flash. I love art prints, and I just there's certain things that each of us has. I wouldn't say a divinity for something. We each of us has an area of expertise that we love, and it is self care, but sometimes that self care can be too much, and there's dangers in collecting that people need to be aware of if you're a new collector or if you're an old collector who just hasn't seen this yet. Um, you can get burned out quickly. And I know that it's easy for some people to say, you know what, I'm going to throw $100 at this, but trying to keep up with the next YouTuber is something you shouldn't have to do. Do it for you. Don't do it for them. Don't do it because they say go buy this. Do it for you. Do you guys have anything else to say on that?
Well, I mean, I would say it's also, I mean, all right, we joke about booze and buddies and the environment there, but honestly, I've done it on I've had to catch myself on Friday nights when you've got an artist on or you've got an auction and stuff's going hot and heavy, bids are flying, and you're like, ooh, I really would, that would be nice. It's like but sometimes it is tough. And I've had to reel myself in and say, no, you can't bid again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to stop. It's too high.
There would be times where you're on Whatnot. I know Bob can attest to this, where
I can.
the stupid auctions get to like $50, and you're like,
Well, I mean, with me, it's not the single option. It's the like on Saturday mornings there is a Whatnot stream I used to watch. It is called Your Mom's Comics. They start at like 8 in the morning. They got a long box of 100 comics in there, and you pull. And
mystery pulls.
Mystery pulls.
Yeah,
so,
I get hooked on that shit all the time.
So literally, you buy one, nothing. Then you buy another one, you hit a sticker. You're golden, right? No, because then say I wanted 2 stickers, so you keep buying, and by the time you're done, you're like $150 into it. You got a bunch of comic books that you may not even like. I mean, the 2 times I've done this of hardcore, I've gotten good comic books, and I won a slab.
I'm still slabless.
Then I sold said slab for money, so I recouped a little bit of the money that I spent. So, but yeah, I mean, stuff like that, you just gotta just if you're gonna go in there and say, okay, I'm gonna spend X amount, and when you see yourself getting to that amount, you turn it off.
Right.
Or I mean, if you get into hole like I was, you can reach out, you can reach into your collection and say, look, do I really need this. I really need that. Does it fit? And if the answers are always no, then you sell it and you make that money back. You know. So the one that I've learned is if you hit checkout and they say PayPal paying for or Shopify paying for, if you don't have that money up front, don't do it, because you're going to put yourself in a hole that doesn't sound so bad when you look at it on the 2-week basis. Oh, it's only $100, but then you realize it's 100 times 4 is $400. You know, and then the real kicker with me is y'all didn't. Some of you knew, but I was sick for a week and a half. So when you walk that fine line healthy financially, then when you get hit with being out for a week sick and your paycheck is not what it normally is, then you're really screwed. So definitely, and and with pops and with most figures, if it drops on a Tuesday, still don't be there. You may have to spend a little bit more for it, a couple weeks, a month or two down the road, but still don't be there. You don't have to buy it right then and there.
It will. Unless
and
Poco Nessie.
And you're not going to be able to get everything because there are, all right, here's going to be, all right, this weekend, Liz and I are going to AwesomeCon.
Awesome.
I'm going to try to get a couple autographs for my Star Wars collection. And, see what else is there. So, I have money I'm planning on taking with me, to cover autographs and whatever else I might see. But, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at what I normally spend on certain things, week to week, month to month, but, you're getting into, some show season. So, June, we've got 5 Points coming up if you're in the New York City area, which is a big artist show. Not sure how great it's going to be this year, but because of the new location. So I'm hedging on whether or not to go, but also I'm hedging because, you've got a number of artists planning on doing new drops at 5 Points.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, do I have it? Do I, but I'm also going on vacation at the beginning of August, and
Right.
that's not going to be cheap. So
yeah.
But it's, it's how do you, you've got to be able to balance that. You've got to be able to budget, and, yeah, I have this month because, hey, I had to pay, car insurance was coming this month. So I had that, that's a couple $100, $400, $500 for 6 months.
And when you're saving up like me for life-changing events, then because we're looking at buying
if you're seriously saving for that, that's
every dollar.
Yeah, you can't.
And it hurt to buy comics, but I'd had to because I haven't bought comics in a while. So I was like, I need to do something. I need to get some type of nerdism in me. So I was drawn to Whatnot. So we'll see if I can stay away. I don't think I will. But speaking of nerdism,
I'm not sure, Liz. That's my fear is where they're having 5 Points is going to be as bad as Patches and Pins was, like crowd-wise, just how congested. It's a smaller venue than they had before, so that's why I'm a little hesitant. I may skip this year and see how they do, and if they stay there and what everybody that is going says. I'm sure
Speaking of
Yessi's going to
nerdism,
go. So I'll find out from her.
let's get on to our next.
Speaking of nerdism,
Let's get on to our
I
next
don't-
subject.
If I was deciding to, Jesus, see, here she is putting words in my mouth. If I was planning on going, I would have asked. But since I'm still not, I haven't decided to go, I haven't bothered.
Have you guys watched the first 2 episodes of Obi? I haven't seen the third. Don't talk about the third.
All
I'm
right.
watching it after this. But
fine. Don't talk to me about the first 2 episodes. I haven't seen them yet.
What?
You haven't seen those yet?
I'm behind.
All right.
Fine.
So much for Obi-Wan.
I didn't know we had homework.
We had
did.
homework. We always have homework when there's Star Wars on.
She's
Okay.
saying don't invite me if the venue sucks.
Oh. The first 2 were epic, yes. That's all we're gonna say. We're not gonna spoiler for Bob.
No, done. I wasn't watch it this weekend, along with episode 3.
I know I gotta watch episode 3 tonight. So my buddies went like today. We were at work and my buddies went home for lunch just so they could watch Obi-Wan. I was
Wow.
so pissed off. I was like, "You mother!" And they just came back and they started talking to each other about it. I walked off. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay."
Yeah, I realized I saw something on YouTube after I got done with my work call and was like, they release on Wednesday or Thursday. And I went on and was like, oh, new episodes Wednesday. Yes. Watch now.
So
I watched right before this.
did you guys go see Top Gun?
No, because
No.
I was sick. And
Yeah, so was I.
My wife seen it and she said it was good. I wasn't gonna waste.
you didn't go with her?
I wasn't gonna waste my money.
So, wait. She wasted your money, but you don't want to waste your money.
She wasted the money. That's fine. I didn't
But
want
still
to
your
waste that
money.
money. Huh?
But it's still your money.
It's ours.
You should have done and just had the popcorn.
Actually, I was gonna go and do Dumbledore, but then I realized it was on HBO Max.
Yeah,
That
I was gonna do
honestly,
that
though.
with a few movies, but they're all out now.
Wait, which was awesome? Top Gun or Dumbledore?
Always
Who?
Top
Says
Gun.
Dumbledore, I'm gonna have issues with her.
Amazing. She's talking about Obi.
Is she?
Yeah, she was
No,
talking
she
about
said-
Obi
she
when
said it
we
was
talked about
awesome,
the first
so.
episodes.
It should be Top Gun too. Just saying.
Yeah, because there's a strong possibility her and Scott would have gone. Top Gun. Yeah. See? No, because Scott's a big Top Gun fan because he works on helicopters, but
We boycotted Dumbledore.
yes.
Why
Well,
would you
Liz
do such a
boycotted Dumbledore because of Depp.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel that I know he's about to win that case, and it's just a matter of time.
He did win.
I thought he did.
He
I
did.
thought they announced
Did he
today.
win? I didn't know. I didn't
Yeah.
know if they announced it today or not. We had some serious shit going down in Tulsa today.
This not Franny. Okay.
But that brings us to the next thing. Hold on, give me a second. Y'all discuss something while I look for something real quick.
Well, I mean, there was always AEW Double or Nothing
That was good.
going back to 2011. with the CM Punk Championship win.
I didn't
All right.
mind the first two Fantastic Beasts, even though Liz hates them.
Why do you hate the Fantastic Beasts? They're so good.
And then apparently it looks like Tanahashi just answered a challenge from CM Punk
That'd be
on
kind of cool.
Dynamite.
So we're gonna watch a trailer. Make sure you can hear everything on my audio. Audio. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think it's that one. Can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you hear this?
No.
I don't hear anything.
Can you hear that?
No.
Hold on. Let me put something else on that's louder. Can you hear that? Huh?
Nope.
No.
No? Okay, hold on.
Nope.
I'm gonna. There's a setting that I can do that will allow both. Can you hear me still?
I hear you, yes.
Can you hear this? Can you hear that?
Nope.
Son of a bitch. I will figure this out. Maybe. Let me know when you can hear sound.
I can't hear any sound.
Nope. 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 Nope.
No.
Wait.
Go back.
I heard a little.
That one.
Yep.
Can you hear? What do you hear?
Somebody talking.
Okay.
Bob, do you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Barely,
So
but yeah.
Yeah,
external
it's low,
mic.
but
It's external mic. Okay. Let's try it now. Can you hear that?
mm-hmm.
Okay. That's not what we're watching. So I'm gonna share my screen, and you're gonna tell me what you think about this trailer that I'm about to play.
I really hope it's not Pinocchio.
It is.
God damn it.
Did you already see it?
No, but I'm
You didn't want
afraid.
any spoilers.
It's Pinocchio.
I'm a real boy.
All right, you ready?
I have no strength to hold me down.
Can you hear it?
No.
Well, I can't hear shit now.
Well, that's perfect. I'll watch it. We can do our own commentary.
The clock.
Is it Back to the Future? I hear it now.
Okay.
There it is.
Pinocchio, come back with me. Back to the future.
Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might have the wish I wish tonight.
When you wish upon a star.
Like Kermit. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, really?
Yeah.
Terrence, streaming on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
All right.
It's gonna fall right in line with the rest of the trash.
Don't do that. Don't be cynical.
What? Why not? Why? Why is there a need to do a live action of this?
Why is there a need for what?
Why is there a need to do a live action of this? Thank you. See, Liz? Yeah, look at Liz's comment. Does nothing to make her want to see it.
I mean, the only thing going for it, in my opinion, is Tom Hanks. He looks like Geppetto, but Jiminy looked like Kermit with no fuzz.
Oh.
The cat playing Figaro looks nothing like Figaro. I mean, it might be a great movie, but I'm not going to be, calling in sick to work the day it comes out on Disney Plus to watch it. Hey, Nadia.
What's up, Nadia?
But, I'm just, and again, I haven't watched but maybe one of the live action movies. And that was enough to turn me off to them. That was Pete's Dragon.
That was a horrible fucking movie.
I don't.
Why would that be the one you watched? Like, there's so much better. Like, Beauty and the Beast was better.
Like,
Beauty
Disney as a whole right now they're just rehashing old shit.
That's what they need to do.
No, they need to come up with new stories.
No.
All right.
What do you mean no?
Think about it, okay? The reason Disney made those is something me and Bob are about to get back into. The reason Disney made those is because they were Grimm's fairy tales and they were entertaining to the children before Walt.
Right.
But
and
now
Walt brought it into us.
And the copyrights were all over, so they didn't have to pay anybody for the stories.
JC.
So there are still plenty of stories out there that you can either get cheap or fairy tales you can reinvent to
see, but that's the problem.
New content.
Disney reinvents every 5 years.
They do.
In the 90s it was, they came out with Aladdin. Great movie. Then they came out with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 that were all trash. They came out with The Little Mermaid. They came out with The Little Mermaid. Great movie. Then there was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. They were all trash. The best thing
I agree. I like Cinderella, Liz.
But even those. All right, Aladdin is an old story.
Yeah.
An old fairy tale.
I'm not debating that fact. That Walt Disney took.
No, that's the model they should just stay with. Take the old story, do an animated, because that's what they're good at.
Yeah.
And leave the other stuff alone. The live actions, honestly, I haven't liked that. I'm not a fan of any of them.
Go ahead, Robert.
Go.
The best live action movie Disney's ever done in the last fucking decade, 2 decades, has been Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not a that was never a cartoon.
It doesn't have to be a cartoon. But
And
what I'm
they
saying
made the
is
script to be a full action movie.
You know
But-
what happens when they choose to find another story? Like Pirates of the Caribbean, they chose to go out there into Disney World and find that story. They pulled it in from their theme
Yeah.
park. You know what happened last time they did that? We got the Haunted
Tomorrowland.
Mansion with Eddie Murphy.
no, it was Tomorrowland.
That too. You gonna tell me sit
But-
there and tell me George Clooney did a banger of a job in that movie?
No.
All right. Why don't you go back to a ride you used to have that you shut down years ago? Redo 20,000 Leagues.
No fucking way. You
Why?
leave that classic alone.
It's classic.
Liz hit the nail on the head about 10 minutes ago. Hang on.
I agree. It's not that
Liz hit it on the head.
remaking it. So here's the thing, okay? We're in a generation that's lost its history. There's no more VHS tape, so you can't watch The Black Cauldron. They didn't do it on DVD. There's
No,
no
but it's
more.
on Disney Plus right now. I watched it.
I'm saying they took it away from the young kids. They made a brand new Mickey Mouse Club. Did you see that shit?
Yeah.
They made a new Mickey Mouse Club to
It's only the
No.
the 10th, 20th version of that. Come on.
But what I'm saying is Disney does remakes and they do, like I said, I'm not a fan of all of the live action movies. They're hit and miss,
I'm not a
but
fan of any of them.
they do good. Like Beauty and the Beast was a good live action. They did really good with Luke Evans as fucking Gaston and Josh Gad as LeFou. Yeah, they did good at that. They did good. I'm not gonna say they did good with Lion King because there's some shit left to be desired.
I mean, this is my thing. If you had animated humans do a live action movie, don't bring me the Jungle Book live action, because unless you're getting a real bear to walk around with a toddler, and the bear won't kill the toddler, it doesn't freaking work.
Because he's Luke Evans.
But like the one that I would love to see Disney do is get back to their actual animation, not this digital drawing crap.
But they
You
won't
know,
do that
I
because
touched on it.
that style is dead.
It shouldn't be though.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
I mean,
but that's no. See, that's the thing. They don't want to make that investment any longer because the digital is cheaper. But honestly, I like that because if they did that, it preserves their history, it preserves an art form,
It does.
and
I like the fact that
and guys like us would dig that because that's what we grew up on. So it's nostalgic, even if it's a new story.
I'm going to go out on a limb
Jason
here.
and
I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I want to know what you guys think. Because Liz just brought it up. Mary Poppins. Did you like Emily? Did you like Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins?
She was not bad.
I think she was a hell of a Mary Poppins.
She did a great job, and Lin-Manuel did a great job in his role.
No. You guys are talking about the newer version.
Yeah,
they did that in the old version. This is back to her.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was just saying
where
that
their
that
animation, the animation incorporated with the live action was cutting edge.
Yeah,
which is.
I love Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
my whole thing, and JC knows this because we've talked about it in our series.
We're gonna keep
That
going with that series. We need to bring it
I'm a
back.
fan of the hand drawn. I think it just looks more realistic. Like
does.
Toy Story would have been awesome hand drawn. In that old Disney style. I think it would have.
I don't think they need to touch Toy Story. I think Toy Story was good the way it was.
All I'm saying is,
like, I've seen Toy Story cartoons, like when they started doing it on Disney Channel, and I'd rather them be Pixar. That was supposed to be Pixar.
Disney's smartest investment, aside from Marvel, was buying Pixar.
Yeah, and Star Wars.
Pixar saved the animation side, because even if you look at some of the big properties that are animated movies, well, most of them are all Pixar.
Just curious what the last Disney animated movie was. Not Pixar related, not CG'd.
The last hand drawn Disney movie was Princess and the Frog.
That was a good movie.
I mean, Disney's done.
Well, that's another issue, honestly, is they're trying too hard with the representation.
Well,
I understand, but all right, Coco or
Encanto.
Yeah. There are stories you can tell to get the inclusion without recasting.
What'd you say? What word was that?
Recasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but
well, I mean, my whole thing was,
I wanted a fairy godmother. That would be one thing.
I mean,
and am I going to get hit for that comment? Maybe. But
here comes Dre.
What up?
Are you going to get hit for that fucking comment? God damn it. Yes, you are. Because I just flipped on my TV up here, the PlayStation 5, and I'm watching you talk. And this motherfucker, Smitty, I love him. This is how you know I'm going to call him this motherfucker. Because this motherfucker starts talking about this. And I said, wait a minute. Representation? And we're going to talk about this? And I said, I have to represent the representation. I am CM Punk. I am the voice of the
here we go.
So why am I going to listen? I got to listen. I got to hear him talk about this. You can recast an entire movie, but think about it like this. JC's recastings for all the Asian American Pacific Islander have been spot on, perfect, because there are so many people that took the wrong idea about not representing the culture that it comes from. Encanto is Hispanic. I want Hispanic people doing the roles.
Yeah.
I want Coco. Coco's Mexican.
Give me a story. Right. Don't recast.
But
don't recast a classic story and give me and I say that, give me a gay
I'm next
fairy godmother when it's the classic is
okay.
I understand, but there are stories you can give me that will give you a quality story and give you the inclusion.
Wait, I'm gonna pause you right there.
Go.
So let's take Camelo Bello, whatever her name is, that did the Amazon movie of Cinderella, where they had the black guy that was gay represent being the fairy godmother.
Mhm.
That to me,
That's the exact one I had in my head when I
I
said
know.
the comment.
I knew that's what you were thinking. I love you. That's why I know you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't disagree with you, but here's where I totally disagree with you. You need that representation now because of the current climate of things in the world where people are getting hated for everything. I'm sorry. It's exactly what I was saying with Jay just a little while ago on Toy Chats. Representation has to be something that if you're retelling an older story, that's fine. Am I saying that like full blown like gender bend? You know, I mean that's money. It's Disney's money. They're all going for the coffers. Like, hey, let's have a black, non-binary, Muslim, half Jewish, Catholic, Gentile, asshole, dog do the role because they know that it makes money.
Hold on, let Robert say something real quick.
I know,
We'll get right to you, Smitty.
Dear Disney, if you would like to have representation, whether it be person of color, person that's plus size, person that is LGBTQ, create an original story.
Thank you.
Do not just say, "Hey, we're going to take Aladdin and we're going to make him a trans Asian guy." No, create a story about, give, they did it with Princess and the Frog, Tiana, awesome, love it. That was a great movie that was a little bit before its time because you had that person of color who was a princess. You had another person of color who was a prince. It was a great movie. But now it's, instead of, creating something new, they're, you know what? We'll do Cinderella as a, plus size, I don't know, whatever. Create a story that's based around a character that is this, that is that. What, people get mad when, oh my God, why is there a, Hispanic Ariel? It was a character in a book. I don't think the author had guidelines for, Ariel is, 12-year-old white girl,
Ultra
or
white.
I mean, I can get wanting to put a princess out there that is, a person of color, or, transgender, stuff like that is fine, but create an original story that highlights that. You don't have to, take Pirates of the Caribbean and make Jack Sparrow, Muslim, You
Now,
can
see,
create
Liz,
a story.
all right. In that version, who was the fairy godmother?
Which one?
The Brandy version of Cinderella.
Wasn't it Whitney Houston?
Yes.
No.
I just sworn it was Whitney.
It was Whitney Houston.
I don't have a problem with that. See, I don't have a problem with Brandy being Cinderella or Whitney being the fairy godmother.
Yep, Whitney Houston, fairy godmother.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That I don't have a problem with. It's forced. It's purposely trying to force the inclusion outside of what.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
That's
this
my
also
point.
goes down to, let me ask you this. It goes down to this, that there are no original ideas left in Hollywood.
Exactly.
Sometimes you have to reinvent the wheel and take a story that already exists and add to it, gender bend it.
What I was gonna say is with the live actions, I know you guys were harping on them a minute ago, but I know Dre can attest to this, is when you see a live action that you grew up watching the animated show and your kids right there with you and they see that live action and they really want to watch that live action. It's nice to have that like connection that, oh yeah, that's kind of cool that they did that for you when they did it for me too. So I don't know if that's something you felt like. I felt like that Dumbo was awesome because they did
with a live action remake where I took Lana and I went with Meredith, and that was like the first family movie we went to go see, and that was where we saw Aladdin.
Yeah,
the remake, and I loved that movie. I love Aladdin. It's one of my all-time favorite Disney movies, and Will Smith killed it as the genie. I think Mano Prasad, I think is his name, that did Aladdin. I think they all were great castings. I think everybody was great, and I enjoyed it. And it was something that like Lana and I were singing the songs in the theater. So yes, I could say some remakes have definitely drawn me out to want to take those experiences with my kids, you know, and have that experience where my parents didn't have that, where they took me to go see, you know, I guess what would it be? RoboCop or like Top Gun or any of those movies.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you know, seeing Top Gun as a kid, my father wasn't seeing Danger Zone. I wish he was.
My mom would have totally done that. She'd been like, way to you. I would have totally been like rocking with her, like, yeah.
But I mean, I just think, Dre said it. The creativity is gone. I would love to see, this generation kind of step up and create the new princess, the new what.
That's not going to happen. This generation that we currently have is not going to do it. It's the generation that's our generation.
Well, someone has to do it. I don't care who does it.
Listen. I'm not disagreeing with you, Bob, but put it this way. The generation that's like the guy I was talking to, Mr. Francois, he's 29. He is within, like, he is not our generation, but he's close enough to it that he's the generation that will be the ones bringing that consciousness to the art form, not the kids that are coming up now, because kids that are coming up now don't give a shit. They just want to see it, digest it, that's it. Versus where he and I, like when we talked in just a little while ago, we were just talking about this. I would rather see Captain America be a brand new Captain America, don the mantle, than just regurgitating the story and slapping something else on it. You know, it's true. We see it with everybody. Like, you don't want to see Shang-Chi be a white dude. You know, people were all up in arms about the ancient one being Tilda Swinton. You know, they were up in arms about, so many things. And guess what? They're haters for everything. There's trolls for everything. We're being the same way now. Oh, no, I don't. I do not need to be on TikTok, miss. I love you, Liz, but nope.
Yeah.
That's a negatory.
I mean, your TikTok feed is probably a lot different than mine. Mine literally is like French Bulldog vids and
China didn't want Simu. You know why China didn't want Simu? Because Simu's not Chinese. He's Korean. And he's Canadian American. He's a Canadian actor who's of Korean descent. China's not going to want Shang-Chi to be Korean. But then who would you get?
But that reaction, China not wanting guy because he's Korean, it's like the Disney fans of America not wanting someone other than, a young white redhead to be Ariel.
I mean,
it's that same shot. Like, why? It's like,
all right, Liz, you might as well come on to join in on this. So now
we would love to have Liz on.
Think about it this way. What about Mary Jane from Spider-Man? When we got Zendaya, who I think killed it as MJ versus Kristen Stewart.
All right, I'm going to say this, and Dre, you can tell me I'm out of my mind or not. But even today, the opportunities for certain people are still, I mean, they have to fight so hard to get them. Yeah. And especially like,
oh, you're right.
We were talking about the one guy that I think I saw at the PhillyCon that you were talking to. how long was he doing independent stuff before he got picked up?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, it's and we see it with a lot of the art, the custom artists that we talk to. Some of them have been, you know, in the game for years, and they have, their recognition level, is higher than some of the newer guys, but some of the newer guys, the technology is helping them into the game.
It's true.
Where,
But that's
but it's
you're 100% right. Like, I'm not gonna argue that point against you, Smithy, because you're right. People are fighting for opportunities, and it sucks that it sucks that minority actors. You and I both know Idris Elba should be fucking James Bond. Let's just put that out there in the world. Me and you have said it.
I said it.
Bob has said it.
You all three agree with that. I'm the
Exactly.
holdout there, and it's only because of his age. But that is because of how many movies are you going to get? And this is going back to the Daniel Craig thing, because how many movies did we get from him before he's, and God forbid you end up with the Roger Moore where he's like
70,
practically needs a cane to walk around, and
or like Connery. Where Connery was in his 50s when he finished doing James Bond.
Well,
but
when he came back for that one movie that he really shouldn't have. Yeah, exactly.
The Rock.
Right.
Four words for you. Four words.
What?
Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones. Don't sell me bullshit on age. He's gonna be he's at in for Indiana Jones 18. And he's like 80 years old.
They should have stopped at the last one. Honestly, I mean, they probably even shouldn't have made the last one. But
the Crystal Skull, technically, we all knew that he was passing the mantle to Shia LaBeouf, which Shia LaBeouf was supposed to take it over because he was Indy's son.
That was the dumbest fucking move they ever made.
Well,
I think that's actually no. I think Shia LaBeouf would have been great because he's a good actor. I mean, the guy's been we don't look at him. Johnny Depp.
Crazy.
I love Johnny Depp. He's fucking nuts too.
That's why I love Johnny Depp. He's fucking nuts.
So why?
But he's controllable nuts. Versus
to me, it was
crazy
body
nuts.
of work. Shia LaBeouf was in Even Stevens. Johnny Depp has been in everything.
He's also been in
Holes.
Academy Award nominated movies.
Holes was awesome.
He was also
he
was in several. There's at least 3 Academy Award nominated movies he was in where the actor that won the role for Best Actor, he was in that movie with them co-starring. So so Shia LaBeouf has done a fair amount of positivity in my mind that he could have carried at least a movie. Not saying a franchise.
I'm not saying he couldn't have.
No, not you. I'm saying it to Bob.
He couldn't carry Transformers.
Because they okay, really gonna talk about Transformers? All right,
yes.
Transformers. Here's where they fucked it all up. You took it and made it the fucking human story. I don't care about humans in Transformers. I want to see big fucking robots shoot other big fucking robots.
In the first
That's why Beast Wars is gonna be such a fucking awesome movie.
All right, you got Liz.
There's Liz.
All right, first off, JC. Hey, Liz.
Hi.
Liz. Wait. First off, JC, you're biased because you are too damn picky when it comes to movies. We've all 4 of us in here.
I am picky. It's okay to be picky about your damn movies.
No, it's not.
No,
you need to be open-minded.
Exactly.
And the reason they are saying this is because I rewatched. Hold on. I rewatched Top Gun. Okay, my wife's sake. She was sick. I watched it with her. I said, okay, as an adult, it's a movie because I wouldn't mind watching it if it was on TV. But it's an movie. It's not the greatest movie. There's some plot.
That's why Rotten Tomatoes gave it 100% certified. That is amazing. That's why everybody that's seen the movie has said that they cried.
Wow. What?
Wow, JC. Wow, you made her leave.
I didn't make shit.
Look at that. Liz had to leave because I just jumped in because I heard Smitty talking shit. That's why I love him. So I had to come in and defend.
Yes, but you also know
Come back,
one.
Liz.
I hold.
I didn't do it.
No, that was me. I was trying to do something and I X'd out. I did something myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you know,
I look like a ghost.
how do I want to say this without coming off or making it sound worse? Bad. I
Just say
judge
it.
people by who they are, not the color of their skin.
And no, I know that you do that, but
and
do
I
understand that it's tough when you're like me, who's grown up being brown, but I'm too dark to be white, and I'm too light to be brown. So I'm in that weird middle zone that like it wasn't cool back when I was growing up, and that now it's acceptable because like my brother, who is nicknamed White Boy on PlayStation, because he is way lighter than me and he looks whiter. He's whiter than you. And for me, that's what's when I hear representation and I see it in comics, in media, it makes me happy because my girls and my son can now look at that and say, hey, just because I'm brown doesn't mean that because to you and me, if we go for a job, realistically speaking, who are they going to give it to? Me or you? They'll probably give it to you over me, not because of the color of our skin, but that does play a factor depending on the type of job we go for. And that's how Hollywood looks at it. Hollywood looks at like, what's the biggest bang for my buck I could do on getting somebody to go into a movie? Oh, let's put this
Well, I mean, to be fair, most of the people up there in Hollywood are either racist or pedophile anyway.
But if I can say something, but to kind of go with what Dre was saying, for me, I feel that representation is so much better in comics and in books than it is in a lot of movies, especially the ones that are the live action remakes, because they're not going for someone that can play the part. They're going for the name who's going to make the biggest splash to get them the money, which makes a lot of the live action movies trash. I have nothing against okay, I can't even think of his name right now. This one guy, very very popular gay guy. I can't think of his name. A black gay guy. I can't think of his name. He's fabulous, but his acting isn't all that he's should have like this big part in the movie. So that's what brings it down. So it's not that they're making Cinderella black or they're making Ariel like a green scaly fish, whatever. Is that they're not choosing people who can actually act or sing or dance or whatever the part calls for. They're just, one of the reasons the Mary Poppins was so good is because both those people are extremely talented.
Lin-Manuel was awesome.
Lin-Manuel is obviously extremely talented. But there's some, and I'm not going to name names because I didn't see them all. I love, I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I love Emma Watson. She sucked as Belle. I hated her as Belle. And I'm deliberately choosing a white person to make my point because Belle is supposed to be able to sing. Belle is this, but, I don't have a problem that they made her more feminine, feminist or whatever. It's that they're choosing who is going to bring in the people to see it. And that's where the live action ones go wrong. They don't balance it very well. Luke Evans works because Luke Evans is extremely drop dead gorgeous. He's gay, and he's playing this like, hunky, sleeping with all the women in town type of guy. And, so he flipped the switch, whatever, and he can sing. And the guy, his little sidekick there, he can sing. That's why it worked. But so many of the other people they choose, especially for the ones that they just do for like TV or whatever, they're just choosing people who are going to have a big following to put in that part, and that's why a lot of them suck, and that's why they fail with the it is great, and I have a black nephew. My nephew Thomas is part Cuban. My sister-in-law's Cuban Irish. She's whiter than I am, but that's a whole other story. She's whiter, but her sisters are all darker. Genetics is a crazy. They have the same parents. Genetics is a wonderful, insane thing. So. But so representation matters. But the reason I say like when they recast them is that they're just choosing the biggest name of that culture. And what I was saying, I'm just going to make two very quick points. What I was saying about Simu was to point out that, listen, obviously we know racism is a very, very horrible thing, but the Chinese just weren't saying, oh, it should be a Chinese person. They were as bad as you can say any white person is. Because I've been a fan of Simu's for years. I follow him extensively. And
I loved him in Kim's Convenience.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. They did his character dirty. Don't get me started. But they did.
No, she's a huge Kim's Convenience fan.
But he was
she got me watching that show.
They're like, you're not Asian enough. He's Korean. How are you not Asian enough? He's Asian. He's just not your Asian. So that's like, that's like somebody telling Dre, oh, you're not black enough because you're lighter than me. It's disgusting. It's no matter how you slice it, it's disgusting.
And that's been the case with several of what's going on in Hollywood, which has been like, a lot of my friends were like, oh, you look at certain characters, and we were just talking about this. I know you were watching the stream with me and Jay just before. When we were talking about when we were talking about character representation, being a kid growing up, think of the superheroes that you have now.
Oh, yeah.
Versus back then.
Yeah. And you and I have talked about this on your former channel too. I mean, how, all right. And you've expressed this between being the Hispanic, the Puerto Rican, and the black. I mean, the black, you had more. I mean, you had Black Panther in '66. You had Falcon in '69. You had
Blade in '72.
Luke Cage right before Blade. And then a few others starting to come out after that. But yes, I mean and you're right. I totally get why you are a huge Miles fan, because honestly, he was, as far as and I haven't done a lot of research on it, but yeah, he was the first real big inclusion depiction of a right.
And he really, honestly, and it was Ultimate Universe because of the fact that he was so popular within the Ultimate Universe that he was the only character from the Ultimate Universe to make it over, because that whole universe was awesome. But because Miles's character trended so well, they were like, we're going to put him on into the regular continuity.
So, like I said, and I'm going to say this as well. It's not my fairy godmother comment isn't a bash against gay.
I know it wasn't.
I have a couple of very close
He's about
friends.
to take a road trip with a gay guy. So, and Chris. Okay, wait. So let me say this. My best friend. I have
two of her best friends.
My best friend, Greg. He's going down to Maryland to my sister's at the Awesome Con with us, right? And it's actually extra special because he's my best friend. I did cons with him before I started to go to cons with Christopher. And Greg is just learned he's in remission from cancer. So this is the first time he's taken the trip since the beginning of since the pandemic, because he's compromised. So it's really, really special for him. But Christopher will tell you, in the early stages of our relationship, and we've been together a very long time, if there were people who had an issue with the fact that I had a male best friend, I won't name names, but it was like, oh, well, when they found these gays, oh, well, he's gay, which it shouldn't matter. But Christopher will tell you, if there's a little bit of a chance, if I had to choose between the two of them, that, Greg just might inch it out just a tiny bit. So nobody, I know firsthand, nobody can say you're homophobic or, anything like that. I have many gay people in my, family.
And Cindy's probably one of the most you and Cindy are like that couple that I know are very, and after meeting JC's wife and to speak with them, it's like very like-minded, very forward thinking, positive. And I had the same thing, because I have a female best friend who I love as my sister, but she's straight, So a lot of people thought we were like, oh,
right,
fuck,
yeah.
there,
Yeah,
and we're like,
it's stupid. It shouldn't. It doesn't. You know.
your
And
brother
obviously, I'm
sister.
not going to be like, oh, he's my best friend because he's, you know, he's gay. I mean, he didn't. We met in college. He didn't come out to me, I think, until I think we were almost juniors, and then I found out he told people before he told me. So I like kept hitting him over the head while he was driving a car. So I almost killed us. Well, when he told me.
Well, you were
But
mad. You were
yeah,
mad.
I was pissed. I was busy told somebody else.
How
But you
dare
know,
you
so
tell
but
him?
it's so hard. It's so hard to say anything because you have to choose your words extremely carefully, and then when you're choosing your words extremely carefully, they always, you know, sound wrong. So that's one of the reasons why I was typing like so much, because it's, for me, it's not that they're making, you know, and like like I said it, like the Aladdin one made a lot of sense because they're in the Middle East. It's like Jesus. Even though I grew up Catholic, our priests always told us Jesus wasn't white. He was from the Middle East. You know, like he wasn't blonde, and it wasn't the surfer dude that they like to portray him as. You know, so it made sense that even though Aladdin was animated, but like the people were of a different, you know, skin tone in the live action one because that's what the people, you know, look like. You know, and so, but it's, for me, it's like I said, when they just choose the name because they want the money value. But I'm gonna go backward just a second, and then I'll shut up. I have to defend TikTok. TikTok is a lot of trash. TikTok has so much trash on it, it's disgusting. I have no idea how the hell I fell down bingo talk, but I spend hours watching people play bingo. Okay, so I know. However, no, it's true. I do. Christopher can tell you. So it's stupid. But there are so many brilliant creators on there who are writers, and they're everything under the sun. And TikTok's also racist. I will die on this hill. TikTok's racist because I follow a ton of people, and mine's very, very mixed. But I follow because they're very entertaining. I don't just follow them because they're black or, you know, whatever. But they're very, very entertaining, and they have skits on topics that, you know, I can relate to. A lot of it's like healthcare, you know, whatever. TikTok like knows I'm a white woman, so they keep pushing, like, no matter who I follow, they keep pushing these white women like with baking hacks or organizing hacks. Yes, I also like to bake, but I don't follow any of these people, but that's what I see. I have to like go in. I have to keep hitting not interested, not interested, not interested. And I also follow a lot of people who about adoption and foster care because I grew up with a lot of foster care friends. And foster care, you know, I like my cousins were in foster care until they were adopted into the family. But so I follow that, and they're predominantly black, and they're constantly hidden, and I'm constantly being presented with white people that I have no interest in following, not because they're white, but because they don't do anything I'm interested in. But anyway, here or there, there's a lot of very talented, very creative younger people from mid-teens to older than us. I think, no offense, Smitty. I think Smitty's the oldest one in the room. But so like even older than Chris, who are very creative, have lots of new ideas. I mean, there's people there who who retwist Disney every, you know, which way, and a lot of it's really good. But a lot of very, very creative stuff, and they're playing multiple characters themselves, or duetting, you know, or collabing with other creators, and a lot of it's very fresh and very much out there. But I also follow a writer who's a big writer for a lot of TV shows, and he will tell you, he's like, it's not that there's no ideas. He's like, nobody wants to take a risk on them. Right. And a lot of the stuff you're seeing on TV now is coming from people who have had other hit shows, or actors were on the hit shows, like, oh, I like this concept, so that's what they're going with. There's a lot of stuff out there, but it's hard to get somebody to take a chance on it.
Liz, have you watched the new Equalizer?
I'm so behind on it, but yeah, I love it. I've seen everything Queen Latifah does.
As a guy who grew up in the 80s,
I didn't even watch the original one. I didn't watch the original one. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I grew up with the original one, and when I watched the new version, I'm going to tell you, I absolutely love Queen Latifah's version. Why? I feel a black woman with an Asian best friend who has a Jewish husband hacker, you know, it works. And I feel like, yeah, are you trying to pander to everybody in that demographic? Yes. Yeah. But Disney, it does the same thing.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Look at Kenobi. Asian fifth brother.
Hold on. Can't say nothing about Kenobi.
Oh,
I-
Bob didn't see.
Bob
That
hasn't
guy
seen
hasn't
any of
seen
them
it.
yet.
Well, no, he's just talking about an actor.
No,
That's
no,
on
they-
internetmoviedatabase.com. That's not a spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah, not a spoiler to know that there's an Asian fifth brother because he's in the trailers. The black third sister.
Isn't he the second?
You laugh.
Whoever, whatever number he is, he's there. They do. They have the what's it? And then I won't say his name in case his character's not known. But there's somebody from a fairly big Marvel movie that popped up that I was very excited to see because I love him.
He's AAPI.
Yeah, I love him. But no, they do. They do the same things. They pander because it's just about the money. But I never watched the original Equalizer. It wasn't something I watched when it was out. I specifically watched the new Equalizer because I'm a Queen Latifah fan. There's many hills I'll die on, and one of them is that her movie with LL Cool J and her movie with Steve Martin are fabulous fucking movies, and I watch them every time they are on. Eugene Levy and Queen Latifah needed a freaking sequel, and that's all I'm gonna say.
And you know what? And she's gay as day is long, and I support
her.
No,
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And you know what? You never know by the way she acts.
No.
I had to laugh when you brought that example up because you and I have talked about that very show and that example, and I still have not watched that show.
Yeah, it's a really. I mean, even Magnum PI, they redid Magnum PI, and that was a very popular show, but that just got canceled, and he wasn't a tall white, guy with a mustache that all the women were, going crazy for, But it's not. But that he was a very good actor. I didn't watch Magnum PI, either one of them.
But then they made no sense by canceling Hawaii 5-0 so they can bring up CSI Hawaii.
Oh, CSI ones are so done.
Magnum PI was awesome. I loved him being Puerto Rican because I'm not gonna lie, Tom Selleck killed it in the 80s.
Yeah, I used to love Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck, but one of the best cop shows from the 80s was New York Undercover.
Oh yeah,
New York Undercover because you had Malik and you had all of them, and as somebody growing up in the city, those were the cops we saw. So and I mean we saw white cops, but whatever. But it was just very relatable and it was very realistic, for the city. I never really got into like the Law and Orders or anything like that. But you're all sleeping on TikTok. You're missing out a lot of good stuff.
I'm on TikTok all the time. Like
I am too, but apparently I'm not.
Chinese government information collection platform.
No, my feed just is not intellectual.
Mine's not either at all. We watch people play bingo for like 6 hours on Saturday. There's nothing intellectual about that at all.
I get the guys drafting like a Super Bowl winning team and a all NBA team and puppies and
I got a lot of
women looking for guys with dad bods and truckers and my TikTok is completely like weird.
Mine's pretty all over the place. I have to admit.
Mine is too, but just not in the right places. Yeah. Or they are in the right places. I just watch them at the wrong time, but
I don't know what to tell you there, Bob.
You know what's interesting? It seems that the algorithm only wants to work for white people having that because as a person of color, I have never ever had anybody pop up on my thing that wasn't a person of color or white. I've had mixed, and I've noticed that my wife is in a similar boat.
No.
Well, I'm gonna try and find the
sorry,
race thing on my TikTok, and I'm gonna change it to Pacific Islander and see what happens.
But it's true because I was just saying that it's. I keep getting all these people like I don't follow that are just are white, and I feel like and there's people who I've interacted with, accounts that I've interacted with heavily. Like there's this one Harvard professor. Please do not ask me to pronounce his name because I don't know how, even though he said it 1,000 times. The brilliant man. He speaks about a lot of things. He's a Harvard professor. He's a linguistics professor. And one of the reasons I enjoy watching is because I like learning about linguistics. But he does talk a lot about race. He predominantly talks about race and language and how important it is. And I seek out his stuff because I like to see it. And I also like to see him clap back at the idiots. But if I don't go search him out, they're not going to show him to me, no matter how much I interact with his
That's
page.
because they're too busy showing the people trying to draft a Super Bowl winning NFL team.
See, I thankfully don't see that. And now when it shows up on my TikTok because we're talking
It's
about
going
it,
to because he's been talking about it.
I'm gonna be annoyed. I'm gonna be annoyed.
TikTok is always listening.
So is Facebook.
Oh yeah. Like,
Facebook is weird.
TikTok-
I can be on my work computer. I can look up something like a part or something I need. I go onto my Facebook, and what do I see? Same shit I just ordered from MSC. Same shit I just ordered from Freightliner. I'm like, what the fuck?
Hey,
I was
that
down
was the topic from before about the collecting.
What?
About collecting and finance. Did I miss that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you missed.
Sorry, that's all I wanted to know. Go ahead, Liz. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No. I was just. It was silly because one time I was down at my sister's. It was right before Punk made his debut with AEW, and so I knew Dre would like this story. That's why I'm saying it. And she said she was reading something. Oh, but I think because Christopher and I were talking about wrestling, she started to get like a lot of wrestling stuff on her Kindle, and then she's like, oh, and she was laughing about it, and then she was saying, she's like, oh, CM Punk is coming back, and she was asking me about it because she used to watch it. She doesn't watch it now, but she'll tolerate my rambling about it. And she other day, a couple of weeks ago, she told me, she's like, I'm still fucking getting shit. She didn't use those words because she doesn't curse about Punk, and it's been like a year.
So
she's like,
problem,
and I'm still getting it.
My problem with TikTok is that my mom, my birth mom, and my sisters will send me shit that I don't understand, and because I speak very little Spanish, and they'll send me shit, and then TikTok floods it with nothing but Spanish speaking stuff.
Do you have a problem with that? Speaking Spanish?
I don't, but I would like to understand what I'm looking at.
Si tú necesito alguien para hablar español, yo puedo hablar contigo.
Yeah.
I'm learning. Like, I'm in class now.
Sí, pero necesito hablar con otra persona que pueden hablar. You need to speak with somebody that also speaks it.
I know.
Well, that's when you call your boy up.
I'm going to.
And don't
mistake
the show's name. Boy Talks. I'm about to slap the. I was going to go and slap the shit out.
No, but it's like.
Yeah, but all right.
I'll go back to earlier.
What Spanish do you want to learn?
JC, Smitty will help you with your Spanish. We already covered this.
I'm sorry, Smitty.
I'm going to go back to something that I said earlier that I didn't get to.
I speak Castellano as well as I speak Hood.
I'm gonna go back to something.
But are the guys from Spain going to say that, or are they going to say, "Oh, you're speaking the Puerto Rican version of Spanish"? And
it's like Alex and I. Alex and I speak Spanglish.
My mom speaks Spanglish.
Yes, there was, man.
So, I want to go back to something that was said earlier about Dre connecting with some comic book characters. So living in the situation that I was living in California and all that type of stuff, where my skin dictated the people I was around because nobody had the color skin that I did. So when a comic book like Echo came around, that was like my favorite person ever as a kid because she was a white Hispanic. So seeing that she's getting made a TV series, that's just like the light of my world. So going back to being inclusive on that, if somebody, like, I know you didn't care for the LGBTQ fairy godmother, but I understand that you didn't care for that, but at the same time, to make that person feel wanted and make that person feel like there's something out there that's a likeness of them, it's a moment in time, and it's so much more for that person.
Exactly. Think of the people that liked Rosie the Riveter, and Rosie the Riveter is used to represent so much within the gay community, as well as Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is iconic, and that role and the authors, I have several guy friends that are diehard Wonder Woman fans for what she stands for, not what she looks like, but what she stands for. And they're straight men. But when I see how much a community has reached out to a character and associates themselves with the actress and or the character itself, to me that says something, and that speaks to the generations, and it's going to speak to generations for years to come, because you're not going to always see a person identify that Wonder Woman was as a powerful female character that stands on her own 2 feet, that doesn't need a man, and that is strong enough in her personality to be a strong woman. That sets such a precedent for a lot of people, both gay, straight, whatever. And I understand, like, I'm not mad at you at all, because I came in because I wanted to.
I know you wanted to give me shit.
And
I understand that.
I love you.
I understand that.
I'm not defending Christopher, because I don't think it's so much that, you didn't like, or he or other people didn't like that they made the fairy godmother
No.
gay. I think it's very much the fact that, and I have a ton of gay friends, so this is going to be, and this is just these specific gay people that said this. There's representation, but then when you hit those stereotypes so that it's rammed down your throat that the person is gay or black or Hispanic or whatever, then whatever, that's where the issue comes in. And that's why I, as a white person, and listen, I'm not just saying this to toot my own horn. I didn't have a white friend until I was about 10 because of the neighborhood I grew up with. And when I was growing up, and I was very, very sick when I was in school, and the only families that stood behind my mother were all black friends. All everybody else wanted me out of the school. And that's the guy on the shoes. My mother had 27 African American or Nigerian godchildren. So I have a lot of history with this. So it's not me just as a white person trying to I know, Dre, I know you don't think that, absolutely. But I'm just saying, it's like, when you see it, it's not the issue like, oh, they made it this person gay, or they made this princess, black or whatever. Because, like I said, Brandy was one of the best Cinderellas ever. It's the fact that, like I said before, they're choosing a name, but then they're making the person like a parody or a stereotype of that group. If it fits that character, yeah, no, exactly. If it fits that, if the little character is supposed to be, really should be Asian, and they're supposed to be speaking like in a broken English type of way and carrying a bowl of rice, don't shoot me for this, whatever, then that's what they should do. But if you're going to take a character that never, ever had any type of race attached to it in the beginning, it's just that when it was made, it became, white, or it was in Germany that originated, and so it was either a little Tinkerbell looking thing or probably supposed to look like a white person. I'm not defending this. And then just make it something and put it into something, it should be represented. Any of these characters can become a different ethnic culture. But when you make them almost a parody of those things, that's where Christopher's saying it's an issue.
No, I agree with him, because he and I talked about this before with that thin line of like where it was, I forgot what movies we were talking about, Chris, that we were saying it was the delineation of like where a black person is starring in the role versus exploitation.
Right.
Like where is that line that you it's a line that they're crossing a lot now, but they're saying it's the PR term is we're breaking boundaries. They're not breaking boundaries. You're just legitimately covering your ass because you don't want to say where the money's at. And I agree with you. Is there a point where they should have said, is that right to use a gay man? Probably not. Could you have used somebody else?
Well,
yes. I think it's very tongue in cheek and like wink, wink. Okay, it's your fairy godmother, but I think it'll. But if you're going to parody it, like if you're going to make them very flamboyant, it almost makes the whole rest of the movie very tongue in cheek, right. And the characters then don't match. The characters don't match. You know, and there's nothing wrong with showing flamboyance. Yeah.
A lesbian actress as the fairy godmother, I would have had one, I wouldn't have had an issue with it because, a traditional godmother is female. It's the over stereotyping that Liz said it better than I did by far. It's the over stereotyping to get the
It's when they're
inclusion.
making it a parody. Like, yeah, obviously it's a fairy godparent, and a lot of gay people do be like, "Oh, I'm your fairy godparent. I'm not your fairy godmother." If the person's trans, that's a whole other ballgame. We're not gonna get into right now. But it's also the word, it is also the wording, and obviously the person in that role doesn't have an issue with it because they would probably, speak up or say something. But for me and a lot of the people that I've spoken to this about and whatever, it's if you're gonna make them so flamboyant or a parody of themselves, and the whole movie has to be a parody of each character. Otherwise, that character just looks stupid.
Oh, no, you said it best. You've said it best because I think that when you look at something like Gaston's underling in Beauty and the Beast live action is gay, and we all kind of knew it. He was because in the animated series he wasn't. He just was like his manservant. But then, like, you see him at the end of the movie start dancing and kissing the guy. Everybody
and it was
like,
great,
oh,
and that was great. It worked. It worked. It doesn't have to be subtle. It could be, in your face and whatever. But it just worked with that, with those characters. Listen, no offense to anybody on this panel. We're all kind of chunky. Growing up, how many times was the chunky person the sidekick an idiot or a buffoon or a dipstick?
The Three Stooges.
Or whatever, regardless of what color they were always the loser best friend, especially the women. They were always the girl who couldn't get the guy or who ate herself and she was crying and blah blah blah. I always say this and people get mad. Barbie didn't make me hate myself. Other people did.
Hell yes.
It wasn't the comic book characters. It wasn't. One of my favorite comic book characters is Storm. Right, I always loved Storm. And Kitty Pryde. They didn't make me hate myself because I didn't look like them. I mean, obviously, I was never going to look like a African goddess there, but you know what I mean. They didn't because I was chubby. It was other people. It was adults who did that.
You have so many great people that could turn you into that if you want.
They probably, how much trouble I'd get into for that, don't you? But it's other people who make you, feel that that way on some level. So that is why the representation matters. But even to this day, I mean, look at what's her face? The one she just lost a ton of weight, Wilson, whatever her name is. Rebel Wilson, even in the movie she was in, and she's brilliant at what she does. She was always like, the chubby dippy girl who's in love with the guy, and she's not really gonna blah blah blah. Yeah, exactly. So it's the same thing, and it's on all different levels. It's not just about skin tone. I mean, finally you're seeing kids in wheelchairs, and amputees and people and deaf.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to Nyla Rose, and for everybody on the channel that doesn't know, Nyla Rose is the first transgender female heavyweight champion in AEW. Huge thing, big in the wrestling community. A lot of people gave her hate, and I think a lot of people supported her. I reached out to her to actually get her on the show because of her work in the comic industry with Marvel, because she's co-writing a story for one of the characters for James Proudstar. So as an X-Men, so she's writing one of the stories, and I found that out through watching Ethan Page's blog. So I was like, I'm gonna reach out to Nyla Rose because I think that she stands to make a huge impact in a lot of ways. And I was like, I want to pick her brain. Like, what's it like being Native American? Not being transgender. I want to know what it's like being a Native American female. In her mind, what is it like being Native American in America now? And I would love to know how that influences her writing the character for James Proudstar. So, like, that's the main reason. So if you watch this, Nyla, get on my show. Hit me back, girl, because I want you on my show.
And actually, it's funny to go back to TikTok again. My mother was actually very involved with the Native American groups in the area when we were younger. And I somehow or another ended up on Native American TikTok. And there's a lot of stuff out there about what it's like being Native, American and whatever. And there's a lot of amazing Native American created, but it's important to see, the transgender, especially the youth, yeah, and everything, but again, done in such a way that they actually feel like they're being represented.
I agree with you. I think that's a big issue we're still facing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if you look at it, Power Rangers, you'll never see a female in the U.S. You will never see a female Red Ranger be the leader of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
It's true.
You will see in Japan right now, the Power Rangers, the Pink Ranger is a businessman, a Japanese businessman, straight. And the leader, the quasi leader of the team, is the Yellow Ranger, who is a disgraced female that they said plagiarized manga. So like, it's her whole time, and I was like, this is awesome. Why have we never seen this before? Because in America, you'll never see some shit like that.
It's interesting you bring that up, Drive, because Japanese, the comics and such, and I never say manga or anime, correctly, or I interchange the two of them. I know they're not exactly the same thing, but in their comic books and things like that, the representation is amazing, and you see a lot of, like, for lack of a better term, like, gender swaps, and you see like the women in the roles the men are traditionally in, but in their culture, in their actual society, it's still quite backwards. Oh
yeah, black people.
So
have you seen the meme?
Well,
have you ever seen the meme about black people represented in Dragon Ball Z?
Okay,
how they're represented in like Bleach and everything else. Like they're actually their color skin, not like black out.
If any Japanese people are watching this, I apologize, but the Japanese people can be extremely racist, especially towards black people and to foreigners in general. I also want a lot of Japanese TikTok now that I think about it. But anyway, but it's true. But Dre made me think of it. Like in their comics, in their, and even I watch a lot of Japanese dramas as well, and you see it, just like in the K dramas. I love K dramas. You see it like a lot of stuff that we're slammed here, justifiably so, for in the States about gender roles and whatever. Japan, Korea, it's even worse. It's still very much frowned upon to be divorced, and women are supposed to have like certain roles, but it's their art, it's their comic books, it's their whatever that's starting to represent that stuff.
You're starting to see a lot more of it.
Yeah, it's so representation is so broad. It's so important for like skin tone, but it's so important on so many other sub levels, as well.
Oh, speaking of which, I just thought, since I have you here, I want to tell you, I found out there's a comic book. I have to message it to you. There is a new comic book where a female character, it comes out, I think, next week or the week after next. She is a descendant of luchadors.
Oh, cool! I definitely got to read that.
She dons a mask, but is entered into this like grand Mortal Kombat style tournament.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
And she has to basically defend herself and her title. So I thought about you when you just said that. I was like, oh, I got to tell Liz, you got to check that book out.
If I can, I want to ask one question that goes back to something completely different. And JC might get mad at me. Why can't we be picky about the movies we watch?
Oh, why no, JC, we get mad at JC because it's whenever we say a movie, JC, I feel, does this, and I love him. I feel he does it just to be contrary. Like me, Bob, and Smitty will all agree on the movie, like being it's great, and he'll be like, or he's like, nah, it sucks. And we'll sometimes think he's trolling us. Like we're like, oh man, like,
okay, I got it.
We're like,
I've ever done that on
Top Gun.
Top Gun. I have always. You can ask my wife.
I've never seen.
No,
Top
we're not
Gun.
talking about Top Gun. We'll say like, okay, I'm going to use him because I'm going to use it, and I love it. Roman Reigns. We all fucking hate that he's been shoved down our throats for years. JC will be on that DICK till it's milk dry, till his daughter gets to famous like The Rock, and we're like, okay, JC, we get you like him. We don't, but we know you do.
Well, hold on. Before you go down that road,
look.
We're not gonna. I don't think we have the time to have the Roman conversation.
Let's talk about this for a second. Have I not been a Roman fan since the very beginning?
You have.
You have.
Have I ever changed my mind about
No,
Roman?
no.
No, you never have. You've been a hardcore. I love Roman.
No, not really.
I hated Roman.
I think he is the best gimmick in wrestling right now, in WWE right now.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna spit my drink all over my expensive laptop.
When the Shield first day. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you.
Gimmick?
I loved.
Best
Oh, no,
gimmick?
wait.
And
I hated Roman.
I told
But
you why though.
JC is right. You're just gonna get mad at me, but JC is right. This isn't about me and how much I would. Let me say this: when the Shield first came out, I was like, "This is fucking stupid. It's another faction, whatever." I didn't follow them in NXT. I didn't follow Moxley before that. I didn't follow Seth, whatever the hell his name was years ago. Before that, I was like, "Oh, it's another faction. This is gonna be dumb." They grew on me, right? I love all three of them now. I do. They grew on me, and it took a while.
He's good. Rollins is funny.
Let me finish. Before we fight, let me finish. Before we fight, let me finish. Okay. They grew on me. Is Roman the best wrestler? No, but neither is The Rock. Right?
No, it wasn't. But The Rock was good.
Can I finish?
Okay.
Can I finish? Let me finish.
I got something to say to that. Go ahead.
Let me finish. John Cena was also not the greatest, but there was something about him, which fans were saying for a long time. Fans were saying for a long time.
He doesn't have it.
Fans were saying for a long time that Roman needed to turn heel to really get over. And the best thing they did was put him with Heyman, because Heyman's a fucking god. If you don't agree with me on that, then I will never speak to any of you again, because you're all just stupid.
No.
But anyway, no, I know. I'm just trying to be silly. But is Roman the best wrestler? No. Is Roman the best on the mic? No. But is it the best gimmick in the WWE and some other parts of wrestling? I'm not going to mention AEW right now because I don't fully watch it. So I'm not going to say that it's better than everything over there, because I'm a little behind on AEW. I'm a lot behind on AEW. But within certain sectors of wrestling, in the WWE, in other things, it is very good because it is engaging. He has his cousins. If people are hating him, and this is about anybody. If people are hating him, the man is doing his job, and that's where I think this is why Dre and I butt heads. Because there's some wrestlers, I hate some wrestlers. You know who I hate? CM Punk. The man's a fucking jackass in real life. I can't stand the man. Everybody in the world,
dickhead. But you know what?
Everybody in the world knows. Everybody in the world knows I hate Rey Mysterio. Right? What? So you know this. I don't like him. Whatever. But he's the
gender.
You want to know the best part?
Punk is phenomenal in the ring. Daniel Bryan is phenomenal in the ring. Rey Mysterio is phenomenal in the ring. Roman Reigns is not, right? But Daniel Bryan and Rey Mysterio are not that great on the mic either. And they get a lot more forgiveness because of his in-ring skills. The whole head of the table thing possibly has been going on just a little bit too long, but it is very engaging and the fans love to hate it. And that's why I support it. I'm not saying he's the greatest thing. I'm sorry, I took over the show. Go ahead, Bob.
Go, Bob.
All right, Roman Reigns. I'm gonna beat this dead horse, and then we're gonna stop.
Back to Roman.
His run has painted the WWE into the biggest corner that they will ever have with any wrestler in the last 30 years I've been watching WWE, because they've built him so high up, and no one's been dragged along with him to pull him down, that we're stuck with Roman until
he dies.
Well, until either Vince dies, he dies.
See, that's an exaggeration, guys. No. Okay, listen. Listen, I will say that the storyline really needs to come to an end soon, or have something do it to keep it fresh.
Viable option to take over for him.
Yeah, but the whole thing is there's always these rumors that eventually it's going to lead to like him versus The Rock, who's the real head of the table. We know The Rock, really is, or whoever. They, so maybe there was a rumor that it was supposed to be The Rock, and then it didn't work out. There does need to be somebody who can,
and until creative can figure it out, we are stuck with Roman at the top. That could be another 6 months, a year.
Wait,
It's
but
not.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna jump on your side right here. When Lesnar left and took the world title with him, took the Universal title with him.
Yeah, that bullshit.
The-
yeah.
The United States title became the number one belt on Raw, the secondary belt to a championship that has equal history, more than the Universal title. Now you have Roman taking both belts and going for a vacation for a little while. Ricochet is trying to carry a brand, which I'm sorry, I love Ricochet. He's good. And putting him in
Not that
a thing
good.
with Walter, good.
Boring.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
They're
not-
both boring. Yeah.
They're not going to move. Now, the United States belt, you have an Austin Theory. I
Stupid
would rather
silver
see it on
lining.
Mustafa Ali, not because he's brown,
It's raining. You're not going to go
but
outside.
because it would work better because the guy got shitted on by Vince for a year.
For
Put
years.
in a shitty gimmick after shitty gimmick after shitty gimmick. Give him the belt, let him run, and he's killing it on the mic right now. I don't see a reason why Cody doesn't beat Roman, take a belt, and run a program with anybody else on the roster. Why Drew McIntyre doesn't take the other belt and run a program on the other roster.
And I absolutely agree with
Man.
that.
It all boils down to the simple fact that once again, WWE has painted itself in their corner. They took Drew from the pinnacle that he was at and made him into nothing. So no, Drew's not getting a title run right now.
Drew's overrated.
Cody,
Oh, for the love of
Cody's
fucking
just
God.
come back.
Did you
Cody
just
is
say
just-
Drew is overrated?
Yes, Drew's
Cody has
overrated.
just come back. He's not taking the title.
Says the
So-
lover of Roman.
Exactly.
once
Says
again-
the guy that's
Hang on. I'm not done.
sorry,
Sorry,
Bob.
I'm so
Dre
sorry, Bob. I'm
mentioned-
sorry. I'm sorry.
Dre mentioned having the IC title and the US title carry the pro. Unfortunately, in the we're gonna jerk Roman off for the last 2 years and make him on high, they have forgotten that they have other belts. So no one's gonna give two shits about the IC title right now.
But they
No one gives
forgot
two
to be.
shits about Austin Theory and his title.
I don't mean to interrupt.
So if Roman goes, there's no belt to really.
There's no heavyweight championship.
So wait, let me just say this. I totally think. Okay, so I grew up in, as the rest of you, in the era where those belts, the IC title, the whatever, the honky tonk man, those belts meant something. They were the number one contender, and I hate that that's gone. And I've said this for a long, long time. I hate that is gone.
Yeah.
You know the last
I
time
have-
the IC title meant something? I know everybody's
had
going to hate this damn
Miz had
saying,
it.
but the last time
Miz.
the IC title meant something is when it was around the Miz's waist.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
true.
I have no. Do I like Roman? Yes. Do I think he's the end all and be all? No. Do I like the program? Yes. Do I think that they need to do something where to break it up? Whatever. If he's going to be I don't care if the champion's not on every week. He shouldn't be on every week because when it's like this, let's see the other people. Let's defend the other belts. Let's make the other belts mean something. Of course, but I've always feel like for me, all right, supposedly the brand split is ending. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm with Dre. I'm not
Fox
sure I
USA.
believe that rumor. It doesn't really make any sense at this point.
Fox and USA are not going to do it. They're not going to allow it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So if he really is taking time off, then they should do something where he loses at least one of the belts.
I
and
don't
his
think he's
presence.
taking time off.
Cody,
He's
Cody-
working less of a schedule. I think that's really all it is. The
I
summer's
know
coming.
I know
The
he's got
man
8 months and then he's talking about just leaving.
The man has. Oh, please. Everybody's always thinking. No offense, JC. Oh, the contract's ending. They're gonna leave and blah blah blah. Who knows? Maybe they are. The man has 5 kids. Maybe his wife is like, you should be home this summer to freaking help with them. Like he has 2 sets of twins that are like a year apart. The
And he
woman
has a daughter.
who's like a preteen. Maybe just like the whole thing with Stephanie. Like maybe they want to be with their family, but everybody has. We don't know. We will never know until it comes out. Maybe they just want to be with their families for a little bit. But the fans, and I'm not you guys, but the fans as a whole, like they want to make it this whole big thing and this whole big thing. I know Vince is an asshole, but like they want to make it. Everything has to be this huge conspiracy. This one's leaving, that one's unhappy. Whatever. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. The whole thing with Roman, yeah, they need to do something. Drew is overrated. Please. You know, Cody, absolutely. Listen, and I'm not even a Cody Rhodes fan. I was never a Cody Rhodes fan. I thought he was the most uncharismatic person I've ever seen on TV. He left AEW. He went to created AEW rather, and reinvented himself. I like him. You know, I always liked his in ring work
in real life, and he is an amazing dude.
I've always heard he's a very lovely person, but you know, and whatever, and you know, so yeah, you brought him in. He's here now. You should give him a title. That's like, you know, my thing. You know, or I don't know. Roman can have like fall off a ship somewhere and is lost at sea for a few weeks. I don't fucking know. That'll freshen things up. Whatever. You know, there can be things they've done. I've always want to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm at the point where it's like, oh, I'll give it a few more weeks and see where this goes, and then maybe I'll be agreeing with you guys. But
right.
Some of the fans, you just like. And I get with the hate with the WWE. I do. It's just like you're so frustrated with it. Like there's never any benefit of the doubt or whatever. Like when you hate a character, like you really hate a character, and I get it. But that also means they're doing their job. You know, I don't dislike Punk because of his character. I was a huge Punk fan. I loved Punk. My dislike of I'll always say he's one of the best wrestlers out there. You know, today. But based on personal things, it's like there's no way I can support anything to do with this man. Rey Mysterio had somebody I know fired because some stupid ass shit, right? So I can never support this man. You know, it was like some dumb stupid thing. So it's those things, but I never denied that they're not good wrestlers. You know, and I'm not saying Roman's a great wrestler, and no, Jinder is not a great wrestler, but I always liked Jinder's, you know, storylines, and I happen to think the man's drop dead gorgeous, so that doesn't, you know.
He's Canadian, it's okay.
I'm on the very same line with you. Roman is not the wrestler and the best wrestler.
Right.
He is got the best gimmick right now.
Right, I agree with you.
Before you do that, hold on. Okay, so there was a question. There was a question posed the other day if Rock or Roman was best in one of the chats that I was in. And everybody obviously said Rock. And I kind of agreed with it. But if you think about it, it's like the LeBron MJ. They're two different decades, so you can't really say yes. Because
but people forget Rock initially wasn't liked.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, Rocky Maivia was the original gimmick, and it sucked.
Oh my God, wasn't that hysterical?
And then once that was out, he became the People's Champ. Once
they didn't like Cena either.
The Shield was over, Roman became the Tribal Chief.
Yeah, but you've never been a big Cena fan.
No, I was never been a big Cena fan because my friend Kimberly loved him so much. I got sick and tired of hearing his name every 5 seconds.
Right, but
what I was trying to say is that if
no, but I agree with Liz.
McIntyre's overrated.
Putting him with Heyman was great. I mean, that helped put him over.
I'm saying Drew McIntyre is the nowadays Hulk Hogan, John Cena, that type of. He's that baby face that they want to push over.
That's because
that's what they made him. Yeah, they ruined it.
That's what they made him.
Forward him out to Roman.
When you have wrestlers like.
But he was also out for an injury too, which I think set him back
way more than anybody. And I will say this: it is played, or the Tribal Chief is played out, and I'm hoping that the new. I know that it's the House of Black; they copied it, but I hope Judgment Day does something good in WWE.
As long as it's not Edge.
Judgment Day sucks because it is a ripoff of the House of Black.
It is Judgment Day. Black.
Judgment Day absolutely sucks, and Edge needs to retire.
Yes, he needs to go home. Mm-hmm. Go back to North Carolina, into the mountains, and be fine. Let your wife go back to being color commentary, and you just sit at home with the.
I would, if he was strictly a manager, absolutely, because the man can still talk. Absolutely,
I think that's what it needs to be, though.
But he needs to needs to you can take a bump or two here or there, but he needs to never wrestle again because his last match with AJ was just ridiculously bad.
Oh no, you want to talk sick bumps? Talk about Jeff Hardy and how shitty he looked at Double or Nothing.
He did, right? Yeah, I didn't see Double or Nothing, but I saw the clips. Yeah,
he got written off TV, and and I said it on the pre-show that if you're gonna look at any of the current older guys that look bad, you need to say goodbye to the Hardys. The Hardys need to retire. Both of them.
Yeah, no, they absolutely need to retire. They absolutely need
They
to
were doing the
retire.
best thing with Matt before Jeff came back, is making Matt big money Matt.
Like he was a manager.
Yeah, he was a
He
manager.
can talk.
Yeah.
Matt can talk, and he's a manager.
I don't people because I've been seeing stuff like like I don't necessarily think it's like Jeff is using again or this and the other thing. I just don't think Jeff's body can handle it anymore. Bless you.
Well, Darby's going the same route too.
That was fucking
Yeah.
good.
Oh my God, Darby's insane.
I love
No,
Darby.
I know.
I love me some Darby Allin. I think that the poor guy needs to look at Jeff Hardy at 43.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy is 43 years old. He's the same age as me, and he
Yeah,
can't.
he's younger than I am.
He can't walk right.
Yeah, so like a lot of
I
people.
have a degenerative disease. He can't walk right because of bumps he took when he was in his 20s. And Darby is 26 years old. And he's taking those bumps, the same ones Jeff took, if not worse.
He's taking harder bumps. Don't lie.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Oh, no, that
but
ladder bump that he took was terrible.
God.
The one that he did to Jeff?
Yeah.
Through the chairs?
I was like, how is he alive, dude?
That's even Christian got to stop taking bumps too. But that's a story for another time.
Christian's been more of a manager type though.
Yeah, but he wrestled today. They had him because of everything that happened.
People need to just stay retired.
Yes.
You know, they need to.
Big Show and Mark Henry, they're so good because they're not wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. I and a lot of respect to them. Respect to them. Listen, I
doing the AEW Dark though.
You know, Christian is my all-time favorite. Christian can always rank above everybody else. Absolutely rank above everybody else ever. Right? If you told me I had to pick between Christian and Jinder, I would be like, Jinder who? You know. But the people just need to stop. Just because you're like, the doctor's like, sure, you can, do this, doesn't mean that they could really do it, long term. They get back into it because they missed it, they want the money, whatever. But they just, I don't know. I think they just need to stay retired, and accept their fate in life like the rest of us normal people.
I agree with you.
All right, guys. So I think that's about all we got for tonight.
I think so.
We always got more, but come back to see more. Smitty.
Sorry for my yelling.
Oh no, you're good.
Oh no, it was.
I'm not really sorry, but I'm not really sorry, but I feel like I should say it.
Liz, sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
So it was actually good to have Dre on with us tonight to talk some shit.
Well, like I said, I was watching it on the PS5, and the TV's right above where my laptop is, and I was watching you guys. I was going to support my brothers, and then Smitty opened his mouth, and I said he stepped on a landmine. I was like, the wife's going to sleep. The baby's
right as you were coming on, I was like, Dre is gone. I was typing like, Dre is gone. I guess. And then you were like, damn. I was like, oh, damn.
I knew it. It was like the minute he said it, I was like, hold my beer.
That's what I was saying. But I think it's like what I said, and I'm not defending Christopher because Christopher will tell you if somebody's being an idiot, regardless of who they are. I will tell you you're being an idiot.
Honestly,
it's like when you're trying to be careful in choosing your words, it usually backfires. It's just
why I
come out
just
wrong.
said it the way I said it.
And it's why any one of my friends can tell you that I don't really try to choose my words carefully. I just tell them exactly what I think they need to hear.
So we're all wrestling fans here. Mm-hmm. So how we should end tonight is go through everybody and say the best match of the week. WWE, AEW, NJPW, TNA, whatever you want to say. TNA. All right. So your favorite match of the week.
Whose?
I have no idea because I haven't watched any this week.
All right, so Smitty's out.
Liz?
I didn't see all of the AEW pay-per-view, and I was suffering Monday from severe sunburn. So I didn't really pay attention to too much of Raw. But I'm gonna have to go with Jericho and his cohorts match on
the Anarchy in the arena.
yeah, on AEW. I only saw maybe three of the matches. So I don't have much to choose from, but I really liked that one. I was really just impressed at how long that hat stayed on.
Bob?
Is there really any question? Adam Cole and Samoa Joe.
Really?
I didn't see that
I'm
one.
glad Adam Cole
good.
won.
It was good.
I'll look it up later.
It's a good parting gift
I'll give you a
from him getting screwed out of winning the world title. But yeah, and honestly, I thought it was pretty cool that they had Britt win as well. I would love to see like a mixed feud with Sammy and Tay Conti coming out of this.
And they got the AAA mixed tag belts, so it would work to have that kind of.
That'd be kind of cool to have I
agree.
A battle of the first couples. Which
would be cool.
It would just be nice to watch Adam Cole just walk all over Sammy.
What?
I agree. I can agree with that.
Smitty can't agree with it.
Dre.
All right. I'm gonna stick with all with Double or Nothing because I watched the entire show twice. And I listened to Cornette. That's why I had to watch it a second time. I'm gonna say the match of the night was Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker. I
heard it was. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it was so good.
That match stole the show. The fact that you had Rancid, I was watching it, and Meredith was in the other room, and I was like, "Babe, Rancid's playing Ruby Soho," and we started singing it. We're like, "Destination," and I was like, it was such a main event style match for Ruby. I was hands down such a happy camper. I mean, I was glued to that match. Like every other match I walked away from, but that was one I stood and watched. And it was such a great back and forth between her and Britt Baker. I don't like Britt Baker as much. I mean, I still like Britt Baker, don't get me wrong, because I do like her as a person.
Don't hurt Bob's feelings now.
Hey, Bob, I love Britt Baker. I met her. I met her. She's good people. I have her t-shirt.
She is good people.
I bought her merchandise. So
I have her autograph.
I have her T-shirt. I've met her. I've shaken her hand. But I think Ruby Soho should have won that match.
Ginger's nice people. I met him. I shook his hand.
I'll agree.
Oh, you wanted to say something else? Hey, yo.
I mean,
hey.
Honestly, we've talked about the shortcomings of WWE. AEW has shortcomings too, and I think one of them is the women's division. I think once you get beyond Britt, there's a kind of a drastic decline into the second tier.
Thunder Rosa.
What?
The Serena Deeb, Thunder Rosa, and Nyla Rose.
I mean, it goes Britt, then you've got the people, pretty much everyone you named, and then everyone else.
Yeah, like Jade. I figured Jade's not even in there just because she has a belt. No. I think Jade and Anna Jay and all the rest of them sit below. I would even say Sheeta was good, but Sheeta's kind of dropped because of
Statlander's up there for me. I gotta say, I got a thing for Statlander. She's up there for me.
Statlander's moving up, but now that they got Athena, which is Ember Moon, Ember Moon's gonna be in that picture, and I think Jade Cargill needs to go and train.
But for right now. But for right now, Britt is in that top tier, kind of by herself. Thunder Rose is kind of on that line, and then you've got like Serena and Ruby like a notch below. But then there's a steep decline into getting into Jade and Anna Jay and all them. Whereas WWE, at least you've got a good handful at the top. A good middle ground, and then your low ground couple people, but that's their whole is in the women's division.
Mm-hmm. You're 100% right, dude. I don't disagree with anything you just said.
And on the men's side, I'm on unpopular opinion, Wardlow. He is trash.
What?
He's a bad mix of Goldberg and Batista. He has that big swagger like Batista, but they're pumping him out like Goldberg.
He's Brock Lesnar to me.
Goldberg.
He's I honestly, I hope now that he's away from NJF, I hope they can build him up properly. But I don't think they will. I think they're just
I
going to
think
push him.
MJF was saving him.
No,
I
Wardlow,
think he doesn't have a personality.
dude.
No.
Wardlow is Tony Khan's version of the big sweaty man for
I agree.
Vince.
He's
I agree.
brawn.
If Wardlow was
Braun.
like 215, like maybe 5'11", he would be on dark. But
Okay.
the fact he's a big guy, he's built like a brick shit house, and he can powerbomb someone.
Brian
That's his
Cage.
thing.
Brian Cage. Fucking awesome wrestler.
Yep.
He's a
I would-
Wardlow. Lance Archer.
I would much
Easy.
rather see Lance or Brian Cage than see Wardlow, because at least with Lance you get
Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake, and Brian Cage is just fucking like nuts. So
All right,
I
so
think one of these two over Wardlow, in my opinion.
all right, no, I'm glad we agreed on something. So I'm happy.
So
I think
I was going to say the women's Owen Hart Foundation match, but since Dre said that one, I'll go to my next favorite, which was the Hookhausen match. So
As
I only
Jim
saw
Cornette
clips
said,
of that one.
you're replacing pockets with a gimmick that's a gimmick manager spoof that doesn't work. I mean, I'm gonna agree with Cornette. I like Danhausen, but Danhausen's a gimmick. He's not a wrestler.
he's a wrestler.
Hook can be the next big deal. You get him away from Danhausen and you put him in a program with anybody else.
Hook needs to dress. All right, Hook looks like he's 14. He might be the
He
next
does.
big thing in like 10 years.
Nah.
Yeah.
So
do you
my
really
last-
buy him going up against someone like Daniel Bryan right now?
No, because he's
Or
only
someone
got a
like
year in the
CM
business.
Punk right now.
No, he's only got a year in the business. That's like putting
Exactly.
freaking Lee Moriarty against CM Punk. It's a joke match. You put Hook against a guy like Lee Moriarty. You put a guy like Hook against, a guy like Trent Beretta that's got some seasoning that could go walk him through a match. You get him against a guy like Chucky Taylor. You get him against a guy
Right.
like Jay Lethal. You get him against a guy.
So basically, what you're saying is, right now he's slumming it with Danhausen, but you're going to put him maybe a notch above that by himself.
Yes, I think that he needs the time to
Because
cultivate.
he is nowhere near a title picture. Not even TNT 24/7 title.
No, he needs 3 years. Give the kid 3 years.
Not Tony Khan said it himself. They don't build wrestlers, or they don't train
Yes,
wrestlers.
they don't develop wrestlers.
So why would you? What as Hook, if he's going to be the next big thing, why would Hook stay in AEW? Go somewhere and learn. Come back.
Dustin Rhodes is actually doing the power plant. He's actually doing seminars. He's trying to do what Cody left in his wake.
his dad's going to be there to guide him. His dad teaches.
And plus, Taz is the one that works with them. When you
Yeah.
have your dad who's been a champion everywhere he went,
And as
wrestled all over the
submission
world,
monster.
and he worked with Samoa Joe. You don't think
I-
Samoa Joe's sitting in the back training that kid? Come on now.
I don't see Hook being even 3 years out.
3 years, but you put him in a program with someone that can build him up.
He needs to bulk up.
So does
A
I
little
Dan.
think
bit.
he's all right. I think he'll be good.
I'll
He'll be
buy it.
TNT champion. He ain't gonna go. I don't think he'll be AEW champion. I think he'll do TNT championship.
Well, yeah,
Hell,
because everyone
Darby
doing
Allin
the
became
doing the
TNT
TNT title.
champion, and Darby Allin's considered one of the fucking pillars. If
Yeah.
Sammy Guevara has been TNT champion, he's one of the pillars. If freaking Jungle Boy Jack Perry is considered one of the pillars, notice the theme here: young, skinny, not built, under 215 pounds.
But
Indie wrestlers.
yet
Indie
they're
wrestlers.
pushing Wardlow.
They're indies.
But yet they're
I push
pushing
a
Wardlow.
Wardlow. I push a Brian
I'd
Cage.
push him right
push a
off the
Lance
cliff.
Archer.
Get him out of the way. He ain't gonna do nothing.
All right, guys, we got to get out of here. Thank you guys for
Oof,
watching.
this
Thank you for Liz for joining us. Thank you, Dre, for getting on here. My guy, King Bob and City Rock. Thank you for all the people that joined into the conversation with us earlier.
Yeah, Liz. Thank you.
Other than that,
Love you, Liz.
I love you guys.
we'll talk to you guys later. As always, peace out.